if we can get him in here. There we go.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Henry. Thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love the opportunity to speak on the topics you talked about and your energy. So I was like, sure,
Yeah.
I'll
So
be in your cave.
we've never actually met in person, but I followed you on Facebook and I've attended one of your events, which was just incredible. And I loved it. And I loved your energy. And so I wanted to bring you on because I felt like you had a very smart, but also very personable approach to discussing the topic of diversity and inclusion.
Mhm.
So, first, please tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do day to day.
My name is Henry Duhart. I am. Yeah, I always consider myself an activist who just decided to run for office. You know, they call me a
Right.
politician, but I mean, when I was the person out on the streets with the Black Lives Matter movement, organizing the
Yes.
rallies. I stand
And
for
all
things such as
peaceful. I want to throw that out there. All of them were peaceful.
They were awesome. It was
They
a
were
great
great.
event. I was very
Yes,
excited. I don't think many people got that experience. How like we had a unique experience on the Treasure
we
Coast
did.
where it was very uniting. The thing that should have been the national message is what actually happened here in the Treasure Coast. So I always say pat on the
Yes.
back to Treasure
Yes,
Coast.
we did it right.
We did it right. And so I just recently, of course, ran for office here for county commissions.
Hmm.
It was an exciting experience, even though that we didn't get the majority vote. We got about 76,000 people who
That's
supported the
amazing, though.
change and supported what we stood for. And so it is only really heightened what I was already doing. Since going to FAMU where I started like really getting to like activism. I'm a
Hmm.
musician first, I'm an artist first, so I've been doing music my whole life, and that's taken me so many places. And then when I got to college, of course, on campus changes you, but off campus, I started getting involved with volunteering at the local homeless shelter. I got, I went to HBCU, which was a historically black college, so I got that
Right.
experience of starting to question things that I've always been told not to question, and it made me learn more
Right.
about myself.
So,
And
can
that's
you
where
be more specific? What were some of those things that you ran into that
um
impacted you?
one just the experience of being not just being a proud black man, but really what does that mean? What is that day-to-day thing? It's not just saying, like I call it the king complex, where everybody calls each other kings and everybody calls each other woke, but are we really doing that work? So what I always thought, it's not that I grew up in a suppressive society and sense of like there's not signs that say whites only and there's not
Right.
obvious oppression,
Thank God.
but what we learned from this past 4 years is that it still exists. It just is a different way. I
Yes.
like to call it the new Jim Crow. And
Yeah,
it's worse because it's not as noticeable. Actually, it's a little. It's so that's where in
I would
college it
agree
just
with
opened
you.
up to that. Yeah, my
Yeah.
mind opened up in college to that, seeing all these people, and it just led me to come back home, running for office because I originally ran for office because there was a hole, it was a pothole that really made me very upset,
Yes.
and that caused this whole 2 year thing. But I'm also a musician first. I love the art, singing, opera, Broadway, rock. It doesn't
And
matter.
good for you. Good for you. And musicians, by the way, I've done a lot of research leading up to this episode, and um, the musical industry is actually one of the ones with the lowest disparity in
Mm,
wages, which I
mm.
was very excited about. Like, go musicians, go artists, and the same thing with
Yeah.
artists. It tends to not matter so much. So, one thing I wanted to ask you. So, you live where I do, South Florida, right?
Mhm.
Which is a very interesting, and we're in an interesting pocket. So people think South Florida, they think Miami, basically. That's what everybody thinks of.
Yeah.
But our little pocket of the world is very different, and it's a lot
Yeah.
more true South. It's a lot more country, a lot of greenery. It's very, very pretty. Um, what do you encounter most in this area in terms of disparity?
Yeah, I like to call it South Central Florida. Is really what we are. And Disparities that still exist. One, gentrification is very live and well. Everybody knows what gentrification does to minority communities. Nobody's doing active
Mhm,
things, not just marching for it, but supporting the right ordinances, supporting your brothers and
mhm,
sisters when they present stuff to the county and city commissions to get the right things passed, to help them get through these things, to create affordable housing. Those things
right.
still exist because it's fun to do. Like I do a lot of the social media stuff, but I also am known for you people met me before all that kind of stuff. Like I do
Oh
the social media
yes.
stuff, but I'm there. Like I'm not just doing
Hmm.
photo op. Like if you see me at any of the Black Lives Matter marches, all the photos caught of me were in action because I couldn't stop
Yes.
looking. I was like, all right, gotta make sure this is not going on.
Here we go.
I think what is missing is the awareness, because there's so much going on. There's redlining still exists,
Hmm.
gentrification still exists, oppression still exists. There are people who live in project housing who've paid rent for 10, 12, 20 years and don't own one piece of that land, no one piece
That's
of
right.
that lot. Those, and these are easy. The people, we don't have homeless shelters in the church. Like, these are easy things that people like to say in government that things take time. Some things do, but some
Yes.
things you can make happen. Like, these, like, until this day, the only thing that's going to really keep me going is the fact that I know there's some things. Not saying I know everything, but there's some things I know that if I totally stop with activism,
Hmm.
I couldn't live with myself because I know certain things. Because I saw a guy today, just a homeless guy today, and it just really upset me because it's like I know what the government can do, and it's still not being
Yes.
done. So there's still oppression in the sense of everything that was before is just. I think today's times helped us. Actually, I don't say I'm grateful for Trump because no, but we were very complacent 4 years ago. We were
Hmm.
very sleep for you. We were very, and now, and I always say at the rally, it's none of this. The rally is just the fun part. It's the after that needs to change. So that's what I'm preaching the message of. Yeah, we got Joe Biden them in there, but that don't mean nothing. He can't do it alone. Karma can. We all need to keep it going. Keep being
Keep it
involved in the
going.
local
And
stuff.
even, and I don't think it matters if you're Republican, Democrat,
Mm-mm.
any of that. That doesn't matter. Get in there and make sure that your ethics and your integrity are at the top of the list.
Mm-mm.
And a big part of that is making sure that you're not doing anything. And a lot of times I feel like it's accidentally. A lot of the people I talk to, they don't realize what they're doing, right? And
Yeah,
that
I
what
have
they're
some
doing is
Republican
holding
friends.
people down. Yeah, yeah, I do too.
They have good intentions sometimes.
And historically, historically, I voted independent for the most part.
Mm,
Um, because I'm not really either party, right? So
mm,
I always, but it's about integrity and it's about putting people first and thinking outside of yourself. One of our later guests, Mervyn, he's going to come talk about that, and he's actually from the UK, and he's going to talk about that.
okay.
It's really about thinking about other people. Like, don't just stop with your own experience. Stop and think. Wait a minute, how can this affect other human beings, what I'm doing, the way I'm doing it, that type of thing, and just think about other people's experience. What do you think?
No, I agree. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I feel like it's a little lag. But
It's okay.
no, I totally. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes the cell phone acts right, sometimes it doesn't. But no, I totally agree. I think that for me, I'm all about doing. I don't know how to explain. For me, I just think that that's what lacks. What we know now is this exists. We did not. There was never
Yes.
any. I mean, when you look at history, there was never any mass incarceration of the Ku Klux Klan or hate crime. Like, literally, even with the Civil War, after the treason and losing and doing all the killing, they just got to go back and own their states again. So
Yep.
when you don't deal with the problem, it
Yeah.
exists, and that's really what it's like. I'm not surprised about a lot of things. I tell people all the time, like, especially minorities, like, to get themselves back on track. Don't They want
Yes.
you to be confused. They want you to lose your mind because, like, we talk about recessions, and like, say we go through a recession like we are now, and a lot of sometimes my minority friends, they'll be like, "Oh, we're in a recession." I'm like, we've you do you know you're living the black experience, right? Like, do not let it get you focused. Some people there, it's we've been like in a recession as a black community. We still been. So what I'm saying is those things, those headlines keep you unfocused. Don't
Yes.
let anything, whatever happens. My grandma taught me this: to swallow it, figure out how you can move forward, because confusion gets you nowhere. Focus, focus, focus.
Yes.
You know, everything that's happening is great. Everything coming together, generations coming together, races coming together. It's gonna be, that's the healing, not hiding it, but openness and dealing with the issues.
100%. And I want to thank you so much. I have to move on to my next guest, Henry, but thank you so much for taking the time. It means the world,
No problem.
for coming on and talking with us. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Bye bye.
Bye.